All right, hello, welcome everyone. I'm going to give you a talk about simplified invoicing management. So during this presentation, I'm going to show you how Odoo can be a really nice tool and an easy solution for the companies that are looking to digitize their invoicing processes. Okay, so I'm going to use the example of like a very small company, but as my title says, it's really for everyone. Here is the pad for your questions. We will review them at the end, so the QR code will be available also at the end. In the meantime, I'm going to introduce my little scenario. So I'm the owner of a very small business in Luxembourg. I sell bicycles. And for a very long time, I was using Excel or Word to issue my invoices. But then it was a bit messy. It didn't look very professional. Sometimes, well, all the time, I had to print out my own invoices to keep a record of them. So it wasn't a great solution, so I decided to move on to Odoo. So here I am. I have my own database. I only have the one accounting application because for the moment, it's the only app that I really need to invoice my client. Okay, so maybe in the future I will add more, but right now, all I want is the invoicing process. In the accounting application, I have here all of my customer invoices, and I can also find easily my previous customers. Okay, I didn't have that in the past. I didn't have a record of all my clients, but here I have all the information that I need. So it's really nice for me to have this record of all the transactions. And if I want to create a new invoice, it's very easy. I just have to click here on New. And here I am on this page. I can select an existing client, one that I have used in the past. I can also create new ones, and Odoo will offer me some solutions with the autocomplete credits. So, but here in this case, I just want to use an existing one. Okay, I'm just going to use this one client. I can see the info that is linked to this client. And also, I want to use Odoo to automate a few things to make my life easier so I can be more efficient. Okay, so for instance, here, it's just an example, but I have specific payment terms linked to this client, for instance. Okay, I can change it if I still want to, but this way I have things that appear automatically. Also nice, but here this client is in Belgium, so I'm going to invoice them in euro. But if I wanted to use a different currency, I can also do that very easily by selecting another one. And a new feature in Odoo 18 is that the exchange rate actually appears immediately on my invoice, only for me, of course, so I can see what rate Odoo is going to use today. Right. So now that this all of here is set up, I can add a line if I want manually. But what I really like about this new feature, the catalog one, is that here I can have an overview of all my products. So it makes it easier for me to choose from this view than from just a list, because I have the pictures of my products, so it's easy for me and maybe my staff to pick the right product. So I can choose some products and then add them to my invoice. So I'm just going to add also some accessories and maybe a bell or two. I can change the quantity here. So once I've selected everything that I want, I can also remove some items if I need to. I can go back to my invoice, and you see Odoo has already filled out everything. Also very good for me. Odoo is going to fill out all my accounts and all the VAT. Right. I also want my invoice to look really nice so that it looks professional. So I'm going to add a few sections here as well. And accessories. And I can drag and drop them just so my layout is really nice. So once I'm happy with this, oh, and by the way, so I'm not an accountant, but Odoo is going to help me as well to choose the right tax rate when I do my invoices, because in this case, it is a client with a VAT number in another European country, because I'm based in Luxembourg. So this is also very nice for me to have this. Right, once I've done this, I also want to mention that for those who know Odoo from before, you might see that the product and description column has been merged. It may seem like nothing, but it's actually quite nice to make our screen look nicer. That doesn't mean that the description is gone. I can still add it here. So I'm just going to add edition 2024 so that the client knows it's the latest version that we have. Once all of this is OK, I can just confirm, because you see that my invoice is obviously still in draft at the beginning. I have to confirm it myself. And once it's done, it's confirmed here. So before I go any further, By the way, I can still reset it to draft if I made a mistake and I need to change quantities or something. I can still do that and confirm it again. But I want to show you, if I click on my customer, so I have here my customer form. So I like this because I have all the information of my customers also centralized in the same place. Okay, so I have the logo, some email address, website, and so on. I can choose the language that they wish to receive communication from. So if my client wanted to receive their invoices and emails in French, I could just select it here, and Odoo would do that for me. In the sales and purchases, as I said, I can add some payment terms and so on, so that Odoo adds it up automatically. But I really want to show you here is the accounting tab. So we have the invoice follow-ups here that has changed also in Odoo 18. We'll talk about it in a minute. But what I really want to talk about here is the customer invoices section. Okay, so this is really a new thing in Odoo 18. Now, at the customer level, I can specify the way that this client wants to receive their invoices. Okay, before it was one or the other. This is changed. It is now one only. Okay, so I can still, for instance, download the invoices and print it out and give it to the client if he's standing at my counter. Or I can email it like before. I can even post it automatically. Or I can use PEPPOL. Okay, so this gives me the opportunity to go back to my slides quickly to talk about PEPPOL very briefly. PEPPOL is a big thing. So what is it for those of you who don't know of it, who haven't heard of it? PEPPOL is actually a platform, a European platform that we use to exchange documents. In this case, we're going to use it to send and receive invoices. So what's the big deal about PEPPOL and why is it a good thing? Well, first of all, PEPPOL is making users using standardized formats. That means that everyone is going to use the same format of invoices. So in the past, obviously, Odoo could read PDF with the OCR, but it was sometimes tricky because we didn't really know where the information was going to be. In this case, everyone is going to use the same standard, so we know exactly where the information is. That means also that that is true for all European countries. So the cross-border transactions are also easier for us to read because we know exactly, even if I receive an invoice from an Italian company, I know exactly where the info is. And then last but not least, it's more secure, obviously, than sending it by mail. So that's good for all the document transmission. I like this graph because it shows a little bit how it works. It's actually quite easy. So basically, one user has to send a document to another user. All right, so every user is going to have their own access point. It doesn't have to be the same access point. They can have different access points. And user A is going to send their document onto the PEPPOL platform using their own access point. And user B is going to receive it automatically because their access point is just going to retrieve that document and then send it to their system. All right, we can use several formats to do that. I'll show you in Odoo, when we go back to the database, that they are all supported by Odoo. So obviously, I'm talking about this because Odoo is an access point that is free, which is, I think, very interesting and important for a lot of companies. So you can actually use Odoo today, or for a long time already, but still today, for free to send your invoices via PEPPOL to some of your customers. Okay? And it's also true for all of Europe and some other countries. So now, obviously, so I have that in my own database. How did I activate it? Well, I have to activate the option in the accounting application because by default, it's not activated. Once it's done, I'm going to see the screen. Here, there are a few information that are quite important to fill out. So the first one I want to talk about is the first checkbox. So you see at the bottom of my screen, the option is send via PEPPOL. Okay, so you can actually just send your invoices via PEPPOL. But now, and it wasn't the case last year, you can actually choose if you want to send and or receive documents via PEPPOL. Okay, if I check this box, that means I'm also going to receive my vendor bills via PEPPOL, which I think is a pretty good thing. So I activated it on my own database. The next line is the migration key. So it is mandatory for all access points to have this migration key. So if I want to move from one system to the next, I have to make it easy for my customers to move. So if I wanted to move to Odoo from another system, I could just use this migration key copy and paste it here, and Odoo would retrieve all of my information. The next line is the number based on the country where my company is located. The endpoint is specific to my company. It's usually based on the VAT number or your company number, but that's something that's very specific to my own company here. The email is also mandatory. It's just for Odoo to know who they can contact in case they need to send some sort of communication. I can change this email at any time. It's not so important. And then you can choose between demo and live. So you can test it in demo mode if you want. Obviously, if you want to use it for real, then you have to click the live button. And then we also ask for a phone number. This is also mandatory for KYC purposes. And on this phone number, you will receive a 6-digit code to validate your registration. So when you've done all of these steps, there are some extra options that you can choose from. So that email that you can choose, again, to change if you wish. You can select your own journal, purchase journal. So if you wanted to have your PEPPOL invoices arrive in a different journal than your normal vendor bills, you could just select it here. You can also choose to get a copy of your invoices in a workspace in the Documents application with a specific tag. So that's up to you to customize your database. And then here, that's also interesting. So my own PEPPOL identification number is this. So I can obviously use that number, this information, to send it to my suppliers in case I wish them to send me vendor bills by PEPPOL. Okay? If they don't have this number, they won't be able to send it to me. So if you're looking for this number, if someone asks you, you can just find it here. And obviously, you can see my status. It's live, so I can actually send and receive document to PEPPOL. So let's try out and see how this actually works. Sorry, I'm in the wrong database. OK, log cycle. So I'm back here on my customer. As I said, this one is just going to stick to emails. But I have here all the formats that are supported by Odoo. So there are some from different countries, even though I said that it was going to be standardized for everyone. There are already some differences between countries. But this one, the billing, is the generic one that everyone technically should use. The other ones are just ones with extra layers. So in this case, I'm just going to stick to my BIS billing. Here you have the numbers based on the country where the company is located. And then here, you're supposed to enter their endpoint that they have to provide to you, of course. Once that's done, you can actually also verify if the information that you provided is correct. Odoo is going to check for you if this is valid or not. Right, so in this case, my client is going to receive their invoice by email, so let's send them an invoice just to see what it does. Okay, so I have here my print and send button. I'm just going to click on it. I have here, obviously, the option by default that's selected for my client. I can add some recipients if I want here. And this is the template that Odoo is going to use to send all my invoices. In the attachment, I also have my PDF and my XML. And I'm just going to click here on print and send so my client can receive their invoices. OK, so I see here on the side my invoice. I haven't shown it, but I have actually new formats for the layout of the document in Odoo. We have 3 new ones, actually. This one is bubble, but you have also other ones that are quite nice. So you can personalize your invoice a little bit. I chose my own colors here based on my logo. So you can actually be quite creative. Also, something that's nice that I have my QR code automatically on my sales invoice, so that my clients can actually scan this and pay me more quickly. Right, and also I have this option for the pop-out. You've probably seen it already, but it's something that everyone was asking about, so now it's there. And that gives me the opportunity to show you the sections that I have put on my invoice with the subtotals every time. I have my payment terms, my QR code, and so on. So I think my invoice looks really nice. As a company owner, I think it looks much better than what I was able to do in my Excel before. So I'm quite happy about it. And as you know, we have here this pop-out, so you can move your invoice to a different screen if we work with 2 screens. And once I'm done, I can just close it, and it comes back in the chatter. So speaking of the chatter, something else that I find really good as a company owner is that everything is going to stay at the same place regarding this sale. So if my client comes back in a week or 2 and asks me about this invoice, I can just open it, and I find all the communications that we had together about this. Okay, I don't have to go back in my inbox and check for when did I send this email, was it me or my colleagues? I don't know. Everything is here. So that helps me also to professionalize my business and make me more efficient. So that's something that I really like. All right? So I have sent this one invoice, but I have still a lot of invoices here that are not sent. Okay, so these are all the invoices that I have done to my clients. I can easily filter on all of them. You can see here there are a lot of filters that I can use. I can even add some custom filters. So the option for me to look for something in Odoo is really big. I'm sure I'm always going to find the right info. But here in this case, I'm just going to check the ones that are not sent. Okay, so I have a few. I'm going to select them all. And another great new feature in Odoo 18 that I really like is this mass print and send. So now I can actually send all of my invoices at once. Odoo is going to filter them or group them by method. So I can see here, I'm going to send one invoice by PEPPOL, and 8 by email, and 2 for download. All right, so I think that's really nice to see what's actually going to happen. If I click here on print and send, you see that the invoices are being sent in the background. It's only going to take a few minutes, and then there you go. So in just 1 second, I have sent I don't know how many invoices, but I think that's really cool. I just have to obviously refresh my screen, and you see now that all of my invoices are sent. So I know exactly that everyone has received their invoices. Okay, so I had one that I sent by PEPPOL in all these invoices. So I can see here in the PEPPOL status the one that are sent by PEPPOL. So I'm just going to group on this field because I really want to see. So I have 6 done already, and then this one, pending reception, is the one that I've just sent. Okay, so I'm just going to, so I can wait. Odoo is going to check automatically every now and then if the invoices are received or not. But because we only have 10 minutes left, I'm just going to do it manually and click here to fetch this status. So if I go back to my invoices and do the same group by the PEPPOL status, now I can see that I have 7 in done. Okay, the one that I just sent is already received by my client. Okay, and to prove that, I'm actually going to go in their database, not that I should have access, but my client is B-Cycle, and for some reason, I have access to their accounting, so I can actually go and check what they have received. Right, so here, obviously, I'm going to be on this side in the vendor bills, because it's a purchase that they have made. I have nothing here, but the same principle. I could wait until Odoo goes and check and then shows me the thing, but I'm just going to click here manually to have the info, and I can immediately see that I have one bill to validate, okay? So I can just click on it here, and you see that is my invoice from LuxCycle that I've just sent. If I open it, I have here my products and everything. So I think it's pretty cool that I have everything here, and you notice that it's in draft. Obviously, I don't want people to just book things in my accounting. So this invoice is still in draft. I would still have to control it and to book it myself if I'm OK with it. OK, so let's go back now to my LuxCycle database. Anyway, just to show you how instantly it can happen that I send it to somebody and it's already there in their accounting, I think that's really, really great, really amazing. Anyway, so now that I've invoiced sort of my clients here, I'm just going to remove all these filters. So you see I have a lot of invoices, and a lot of them are not paid. Okay, so as a small business owner, what I really want is my clients to actually pay me at some point, because I do need the cash to keep living. So I can see here on the customer level, if I take this list view, my follow-up status. Okay, it's a field that I can select from here, requires follow-up. And I see all of the customers that are actually overdue with their invoices. Okay, so there are quite a few. And I can see also the follow-up level, the total due, and total overdue. So there's a lot of money here that I need to get back from these clients. And obviously, before I had to call them all the time, by myself. It took me a lot of time. It was very unpleasant. But now I have a different way of doing that. So if I take my buyback client, for instance, as I showed you before, in the accounting tab now, you have this invoice follows up. So I still have my follow-up levels here as before, but now this is actually also monitored on the customer form. And I can still choose, okay, if I wanted those reminders to be sent automatically or manually. In this case, it's set up automatic because I don't have the time to do it myself. But if I want, I can do it manually. I'm going to do it with you guys so that you see what happens. I'm just going to send here my reminder automatically. Again, it's a template in the language of the client. I can choose first reminder, second reminder, and so on. And I can also attach all of my invoices in here if I want to or not. Like there are many here, so maybe I don't want to send them all. But at the same time, I want my client to be able to pay all of these invoices. So it's OK. I'm just going to send and print all of these together. And you will see that the mail is going to appear. So I don't want to download this, but it's fine. Here you will see in the chatter all the communications that I have sent to my client, and also the mail that I sent. So I can just open this, and I can print it out also if I want to, in case they don't pay and I need to collect some information about how I send reminders and stuff. But look, this is a really nice PDF. I think it looks really cool and really professional. It's so much better than what I did in the past, when I have all the invoices in the back so that they can really see all of them and pay me in no time. Okay, so I think that's really great. Something else that I have in my customer list, I can set responsibles also to these customers. Okay, I can group by responsibles. So that's another thing that I think is really cool, do the responsibles. So I can see here that there are 4 clients for which there are no responsible. Occasionally, it's my customer, my colleague is over there. And I can just select everything at once. Also, very cool, in Odoo now, you can use the shift function to actually select all the lines at once. We couldn't do that before, so I think that's really cool. And I can just use the mass edit to just assign all of these clients to me at once, so in this case, only 4. But again, it's another way to work faster and smarter in Odoo, and I really like that. So the next time, I will be aware of what's happening here, and I will be a follower of the reminders that are being sent to my clients. All right, so all in all, as a business owner, I'm really happy that I switched to Odoo because it's a very easy and simple solution. I haven't mentioned it, but because I'm using the one-app free, it's actually free for me. So for all the companies that are looking for an easy way to digitize their company a little bit and their invoicing process, you can use the accounting app or even the invoicing app. And that is already the key for you to PEPPOL because it's just free and super easy to set up, as you could see. So for all the companies that are looking for a solution like that, I think Odoo is great. All right, so now we can move back to the slides. That was my last slide. So I have 4 minutes left, and we can proceed with the questions. Thank you.
All right. All right. I was about to say it, but the first comment in the pad is great talk, and thank you.
Thank you.
So I don't have to say it myself. Right, Laurent. We have some questions. The first ones maybe are about PEPPOL.
Yeah.
All right. First, someone asks, as a business that has never used PEPPOL, can I activate my account within Odoo, or do I have to register on the other platform first?
Right, that's actually a very good question. No, you can just use Odoo. All you need is your company number, and then you register just like I showed you in the slide. And Odoo is actually, at your Acces Point, Odoo is going to register you onto the platform. So there's nothing that you need to do. It's all automatic, and it happens very quickly. There is sometimes a small period of time for the approval, but technically it should be quite fast.
Okay, thanks. About what PEPPOL does PEPPOL send a confirmation if the client has downloaded the invoice? So I don't know if we have information on that.
No, you don't get a confirmation. You can see it in the status. So if I go back to my database very quickly, you will see always here the PEPPOL status. So you can see the ones that are received. Done is received. And actually, I didn't show that in the chatter. You can see that this document has been sent to PEPPOL, and then the stage. So it's updated. So if there's an error, you will see it as well, and so on. So it's really in the chatter that you're going to find.
Okay, so we have some information still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. This one is maybe tougher, but can PEPPOL check if the foreign customers' VAT numbers is correct and entitled for intra-community VAT?
Okay, so the two answers to that question. First, you can ask Odoo to check your VAT numbers. So there's an option for that in the settings of your accounting app. We can connect to the VIS platform to check if the VAT number exists. But actually, for PEPPOL, the information is going to be given to you by your client, so it's for them to give you the proper information. And anyway, if the information is not correct, you will see it also, because if I take my B-cycle client, which is this one, you will see here that we have the possibility to verify and check if all the information is valid. Okay, so you will get an error if the information is not correct.
All right. About the invoice follow-up, so we have a new tab, a new area in the contact form. Is it possible to automatically manage also reminder fees when people do not respect the due dates?
Right. Okay, that's funny. That's a question that we often get. No, it's not possible. It's something that we don't want to do, because imagine you set 2% of interest per day of late payments, etc. Everyone's going to do their own thing. The calculation is just going to create a lot of accounting entries, so we just don't want to do that. So you can just add it to your template, mail template, so you can send it to your client saying if you pay with 5 days late, it would be a 2% interest. But Odoo is not going to calculate that for you, so you can still calculate it on the side in a Odoo spreadsheet if you want, but it's not going to happen automatically. But your question reminded me that I forgot to show something. So we also have here our customer statement. So on each client, you can open your customer statement, and you will see here by partner over time all the invoices that have been sent. It's something that apparently a lot of clients like to receive, so you can click here to get it in PDF, and you can even send it by email to your client very quickly. So if they want to receive that every end of the month, then you can just send it to them.
Okay, and I see that time is already up.
Okay.
So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Adrien.
For this presentation, and the audience for listening.
Okay, thank you.